She wears a nappy because it makes her happy. She's too cool for smooth. Kings and queens are too free-spirited to be restrained by herbs and oils. These queens who doing it as a natural crown of truth. Braids worn in all sorts of twists, shades, a labor of love for the root.
If I'm gonna be living with y'all, I need to know the juicy stuff.
Girl, I can't believe you about to have me around all these people. I just feel like I have to act a certain way to make myself feel better.
Acceptance, a sense of belonging, self-identity. We can't go searching for that shit.
The validation that I was looking for, it was always there. I needed to show up as Alex to know it. And loving her taught me that I would never be who I wanted to be until I believed I was all I ever needed to be. Only I could define me.
Damn, y'all. We just got naked. Yeah, okay.
About time, sis.
What's up, Queens? It's your girl, J. Rose, and welcome again to another episode of Sistas right here on Be More Radio, where, of course, sisters are doing it for themselves. Hello. So today is so exciting because I am so proud to have as a guest a sister who's not only been doing big things in the world of filmmaking, but we at Be More Radio are so proud to have her as one of our alumni interns as well as being a graduate of the Michigan State University with her brand new film, Naked. So please welcome Miss Brenda Walker. Hey girl, it's good to see you again. How have you been?
I have been good. How have you guys been? I missed you guys.
We have been keeping it on. We've been keeping up. We're making it do what it do. Is what they say. So we've been holding on. It's good to hear from you again. So just to catch everyone else up, because we go a little bit back. So you were a part of our 2019 GDYT Grow Detroit's Young Talent Group as an intern. And did you know that I actually started out in that same program in 2017 it was, and now I am the director of training at Be More Radio Institute and the lead host of Sistas. So we doing it, we making it work, okay?
Growth, yeah.
It's growth here. So we started dreaming about doing a podcast like this way back when, so many years ago, and you represent everything that our Be More Radio Institute exists for, and we live to encourage and produce the next generation of broadcasters, content producers, and creators and influencers. And so I had to ask you, since it's been a while, how was your experience way back when at Be More as an intern?
It was really good. It was really enlightening to be in a space and really kind of watch how a radio show gets put together. And I even had the fortunate opportunity to be a host one time when we I think one of the hosts, like, they had to step away or something like that. So I had a chance to host with Gabe, and that was like really exciting because I didn't know how much of a skill goes into like hosting and being able to keep up, with the conversation and make sure that you're hitting all the talking points for what the topic of the show is. Like from a standpoint, it looks like you're on here, you're just having a good time, you're just chatting with the guests, but it is like a formula to it. So I really got to get great exposure to that.
That's good. And you're right. It's definitely an art form. I will say that. And shout out to Gabe, because I forgot that you guys did that show. Yes, I forgot all about that. So as I said before, we go way back. And even when you were beginning your start, because I think you were about to be a freshman at MSU at the time, and now you graduated. So time went by so fast. So while you were there, what was your major, and what inspired you to even get into the film industry? And how did you know that was even something you wanted to do long term?
Yeah. Okay. So at Michigan State, I was media and information. So that's their fancy way of saying filmmaking. And I always knew that I wanted to go into visual storytelling since like my sophomore year in high school. I used to actually go to a short film camp. Shout out to MPI. um, growing up in Detroit and just the couple schools that I went to, I didn't actually have exposure to how much an art form filmmaking is and how much that goes into it. So going to that short film camp and seeing like the process with the lighting and seeing like set decoration and learning the term shot list. So like all of it was just like all this random, information being thrown at me, and I really fell in love with it. So I was like, okay, this is something that I want to do. And then I came across producing with my first project. Shout out to my best friend, Kyra Kimbrough. We co-produced a documentary web series together. And that's when I fell in love with the art of producing, because that's really what it is, being able to have a vision for something and put it together, and really the collaboration of it too. Like producing is definitely as much as being like a people person and knowing how to work and collaborate with other creatives. So yeah, from there I just knew that visual storytelling was like something that I wanted to do, and that producing was the avenue I wanted to take to get there.
That's great to see sisters like you who have a platform
Thank
now
you.
to be able to have our stories told. I love how you light up every time you talk about the filmmaking industry. That's how you know when someone's passionate about it. You can kind of see
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
excited about it. And so, speaking of stories, in the middle of the pandemic, while the world was on pause or upside down, if you will, you
True.
made a film during this time called Naked, which I heard is a movie about sisters just unpacking some insecurities and learning about one another through issues that we can all relate to that are common to us. And so, if you can you share a little bit with us, a little bit more about what the film is about and how you came up with the idea for it, starting with the name, because that's a very catchy name.
Yes, I would love to get into the name. But how it started was, it started with an interview project that I had the idea to do, an interview with 50 Black women, asking them about the topics of colorism, codependency, body image, and competition. In those categories itself, I'm also a poet at heart. I love everything about poetry. And I was watching just the random poems on YouTube, and I noticed how Black women poets were talking about the same thing in different ways. So I broke it down into those four categories, and then I just sent out like a post on like Instagram, like, "Hey, can I interview you for this project?" And I asked them questions along those four categories, and then I seen like how relevant this is in our community, and I was like, "There's a story to be told here." And one of my co-producers, we're really all just like a team, three of us, honestly, at this point. When I told her about the idea, she actually came up with the name Naked. And it was like a light bulb. It's like, I was like, wait a minute, you she just did it in like 2 seconds too. Because really the film is really about vulnerability and transparency. And one of the times you're mostly like that is when, you're naked. So like kind of being like really showcasing, really being raw with how, vulnerability and transparency is taking place within Black women within this conversation. And I feel like she really captured it with that title, because that's truly what it is. They're bearing themselves with each other. So, yeah.
Well, that's a very clever title, to say the least. I
Yeah.
won't even go into what I originally thought it was about. It was very far away from what I thought. So that's a clever title in
Yeah.
itself. And I saw in the clip at the beginning, I noticed that there were different issues or topics that some of the sisters were going through as far as dealing with things like colorism, body image, codependency, and even competition amongst each other as women. Can you tell us why, out of all the other things that sisters are going through, and there is a long list, but why these specific topics? Why do these matter to you more closely, as well as why do they matter to the film?
Yeah. So I think it clicked that I wanted to do those things when I really got deep into the interviews with the voluntary 50 women. That because it got to a point where they didn't feel like interviews. They were like venting sessions. Like each of them were like maybe like an hour long. And some women were sharing some of their loved ones correlation to the themes, and it just showed like how relevant it is and how almost all of them related to all four of the topics. And, under each topic, of course, there's different subtopics that, we couldn't dive into with just the short film, but it really showcased that, I'm sorry. It really showcased that this is something that is relevant amongst Black women, and for Black women, the ones that I talked to be so vengeful and be so emotional to what the experience that they had related to those topics. I knew that there was a story there. So.
That's awesome. And I actually want to give a shout out to the actresses that I saw in that clip. The assignment. I have yet to see the film yet, but based on what I've seen, they understood the assignment. And so can you briefly tell us about how did that casting process go, and how did you know that the actresses were the right fit for these roles?
Yes. Oh my God. So we had a decent turnout for the casting, which we were completely fortunate for. But honestly, and when each of the girls tried out, we knew that this is Dahlia, this is Amina, this is Charlie. We knew that each of them were a great fit for the character. And I have to shout out Siddy, because she was she put those girls through it with the rehearsals and acting, really got them top notch. They were amazingly talented, and like I said, we knew that we wanted each of them to play that character. But she definitely I give a big shout out to her. She really has a talent for coaching actors and getting them to really kind of step into that character and bring it to life. So yeah.
Well, I could definitely see why this would be a really dope concept for a movie. And speaking of which, let's go to another short clip from the film Naked, and we will be right back real quick.
Girl, I can't believe you about to have me around all these people. You know I don't like talking.
Please get this raggedy ass car fixed. Well, sis, for one, I only have 2 roommates. And for 2, they chill for real. Especially my girl Alex. Okay, so they both do kind of got a mouth on them, but no more than you. So you should fit right in. Just don't start.
Girl, I don't even be doing nothing.
So welcome back everyone to Sistas, and I have been here with our guest filmmaker and writer Brenda Walker about her new film Naked, and now I want to add some more sisters to the mix from the film, since no one can make a movie alone, of course. Let's please also give a sisters welcome to co-producers Jessica Austin and Siddy Morgan. Ladies, it's so great to have you with us. Hello. Yes. How are you? How are you ladies doing?
I'm so excited. It feels so good to be here. This is actually the first time that the 3 of us have been together in
so long.
It's been a while, a couple months, and that has been the longest time we've been apart since making this film project. So it just feels really good to be here with you ladies tonight, and I'm really honored to be a part of this show with you all. And I miss y'all.
I miss you.
I love that we could help facilitate a reunion amongst y'all. How are you, Siddy? How you been?
I am good. I'm scared to use my mic because of the feedback. So
you're good.
Bear with me. But I've been good. I miss y'all so much. I'm so excited, getting everything ready to show everyone the project, and that has just been a crazy experience. So yeah, I'm excited to link back up with everyone.
I'm excited for you guys. I feel all of your excitement. So one at a time between Siddy and Jessica, how can you tell us a little bit about yourselves, and how did you become involved with Brenda in this film?
Okay, I can go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, after I finished my film program at Specs, I was looking for my next project, or especially something, to emerge into the professional film aspect. And I had been on the acting side of everything for years. That's actually what I trained to do. And I don't know, I kind of switched gears, I guess. And then, so Brenda and I, a friend connected Brenda and I, lovely friend. and then Brenda and I hit it off. And then we just started writing with Jessica, and it became like this sisterhood that honestly I am just so grateful to be a part of. Like Jessica said, we haven't seen each other in like months, and I feel like it's kind of weird. Like I really miss them. Like, how you be away from your family, like, oh my God, what's up with you guys? Like, but yeah, so
That's
hopefully
awesome. Yes. What about you? What about you, Jessica?
Yeah, so like I was telling you guys a little before, I transitioned from being a social worker and I knew that I wanted to go into film. And so I started going to different mixers and stuff. And I was introduced to Brenda at a film mixer, a networking mixer. And it was so funny because when I met Brenda, she started off with this whole spiel about herself, her professional experience. And somewhere in there, she's like, and I'm 17. I think you were 17 or 16.
I was 17.
Well, anyway, she's like, and I'm 17, by the way. And then she keeps talking, and I'm just like, wait, what? Like, go back. You're how old? And it was just so crazy to me. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, when I left there that night, I'm like, this girl is going places. And I truly admired her energy. And for me, having been being older, having gone through college and all of that, being in a space of transitioning, I walked away from meeting her feeling so hopeful about the connection that we had and just who she was as a person. And so I started my own project, actually, my first film project, and Brenda was a PA for that project. And then we just continued to grow and grow and grow. And then when she presented this project, she called us up and she's like, I have this idea to do a poetic visual. Are you down? And I'm like, yeah, what is a poetic visual? But from there, it was just like, absolutely, like anything you do, like I'm here for it. And that's how we came together. And then, like Siddy mentioned, she was introduced to Brenda, and Brenda introduced her to me. And then we all just clicked. It was such an organic connection that we had. And so here we are 2 years later.
I definitely get that vibe from you all, and to be a further part of the Amen choir on Brenda, I definitely got the same vibe from her too. When I first met her, I think you were 18 or 17. And she said she did the same thing. Like, she was like, this is what I'm doing. This is where I'm going to Michigan State. I was like, most people your age don't even know what they're going to eat tomorrow. And you know exactly what you're going to do. So I'm with you. So yes, definitely. And so, as I mentioned before to Brenda, y'all were making a film while the world was going upside down in the midst of COVID, which is a very interesting thing to do. So tell us a little bit of something about Naked and how you hope that it can influence society, and particularly our sisters. Anybody can answer that, of course.
Well, I'll go first, I guess. I think I really want women to take away from this film that it's okay to be vulnerable, and it is okay to be accountable. It's okay to hold each other accountable. And I feel like that's something that we all had to learn as Black women in this process. I think we all kind of came into it with this professional, thinking cap on, like, okay, we know how to do our jobs as writers, as professionals, but we had no idea when we started this how much it would really require of us to really heal and be vulnerable and really bring to the table our own issues. And so, it just turned into this beautiful web of accountability and just bearing it all. So I think I really want women to walk away just knowing that it's okay to do that for each other. We need that for each other.
I like that. Healing and freedom. What about you, Siddy?
I would say really just that it's like okay to just have a conversation and like, like Jessica said, be vulnerable, but especially like with your friends. Like, I feel like we all like have friends, or like maybe some people don't have friends, but like if you do have, you might have friends, right? But you might not really like know them. You know what I mean? Like, or like what's going on, or like how things truly are. And it's okay to like kind of take that off sometimes and like share what is truly going on and give each other a slice of your life, and sometimes it may be heartbreaking. Sometimes it may, have to like even check you a little bit, because you see that in the film, like some of them, it gets a little, but that's okay, because sometimes it takes a little bit of that so that you can reveal like, what's truly going on. So yeah, your naked truth. It's okay to have a conversation.
I like it.
I like that naked truth. That's
I know you got something to add, Brenda.
I like that.
What were your hopes for the film?
They both said it perfectly, honestly. But really capturing that vulnerability and really, being comfortable with that. I think sometimes even, with our friends, we are afraid to be 100% vulnerable and to reveal, issues that, that tug on our like heartstrings a little bit. Is kind of something that's personal, to us, and it is okay to, to have that conversation. Because that starts, towards healing and towards, like you said, that freedom and being closer to being closer to the people that you consider friends as well.
That's awesome. So from the clips that I have seen so far, these sisters, like I said, the actresses understood the assignment here, and they are killing it in their roles. Speaking of clips, we are excited to show another clip from the film, and then after the break, we'll continue this naked conversation when we come back here to Sistas here on Be More Radio. We'll be right back.
I'm just saying how I got respect for myself. Next thing you know, I'm getting cussed at.
So wait, now we don't have respect for ourselves?
I'm sure she.
Okay.
Sure she didn't really mean it like that. Y'all, we still gotta get dressed.
Yeah, see, I didn't even say all that. I mean, what you do with your body is between you and God. You just asked me about mine, so I told you.
Listen, just because you sip on juice and Virgin Mary is your BFF, that don't make you no better than anybody at this table.
And no, I don't think I'm better than anybody. I'm not trying to come off like that.
Well, you are.
Oh, please, let's go to the next.
No, wait, no. We're not going on to the next question. Listen, I'm not judging anybody in this room. But your question is a trigger. Because I feel like it's a part of the standards that have been placed on young 20-something-year-olds.
All right. Welcome back again to Sistas, where we have been here with our guests, filmmakers Brenda Walker and co-producers Jessica Austin and Siddy Morgan, discussing their brand new sister film, Naked. So I think that it's really interesting that the film is, from what I hear, based on a game that the sisters play, which is the notorious Never Have I Ever game. And so this is kind of a fun question, but I'm curious to know, have you ever had a similar experience like in the film where a Never Have I Ever game went a little bit deeper than you expected with your friends?
Yes. Yes, I have actually, and not just Never Have I Ever, but other games too. And sometimes, people will ask questions, sometimes just to pry, just, being nosy. You know how people can be sometimes. And usually what happens is people will shut down or they'll find a way to exit the conversation. And so I think, when toying with the idea of what game to play, we just kind of felt like this game would be a really good way to get people talking, because it is one of those games that can easily get really messy. And sometimes messy is good. Sometimes you have to make a mess in order to, really clean it up. So, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Anyone else? I mean, I'm not trying to put anyone on the spot here, but
it has definitely happened to me a few times where like one person asks that one question and then with their response, the other questions are sparked, and then next thing you know, we're like completely, off topic. So I think that's why it was a great way to kind of get the conversation started, because that's organically how sometimes you do kind of get deep, with your friends, or learn something that you didn't know, before, just through the avenue of this game. So.
All right. So were there any favorite moments throughout production? Not even just in the film itself, but even in making the film. Did you have any memorable or favorable moments there?
Oh, yes. The entire time.
I'm sure there's a mountain of stories.
No, literally, there are a mountain of stories, from casting to, even before casting, when we were in the writer's room, everything. But I feel like the most memorable moment, I think, was really like when we found our cast, because Ooh, that was a struggle. Like getting off the fourth person. It wasn't a struggle. It was just, a lot of back and forth. And so I feel like when we finally locked in, like that was the most like, oh my goodness, like we're really doing this for me.
Just the realization that we did it, that type of thing. I got you. And I really, really admire your sisterhood. I can feel it. Like, I just met you two ladies. I've known Brenda, but I can definitely feel all of your sisterhood, and I really am loving the vibe here. And so before we wrap things up, I have to ask, of course, Brenda, how can we best be able to support you, all of you ladies in the Film Naked, and do you have any advice for any up and coming filmmakers?
Yeah. So the best way to support is to definitely follow our Instagram page, our social media, and keep updated to our website. We will be having the premiere this weekend. So right after that, please stay updated to see where the film will be distributed, so you can get a chance to watch it and be a part of the conversation and share the conversation with even your own friends. And then the best advice I would give to filmmakers, really be in touch with who you are as a creative. Because being in this space, no matter what it is, you're singing, you're writing, poetry, radio, whatever your craft is, there are others out there who do the exact same thing you do. But when you are in touch with what you bring to the table and what your influence is and what your perspective is, you'll be less likely and less compelled to want to compare yourself. Well, they're getting these views and they're getting this attention because you know what you bring and you know your voice and you know how loud and powerful your voice will get. So that is something I'm still struggling with not comparing myself and really kind of be in touch with who I am. So that's the best thing I can give to up and coming creatives.
Yes, and just to add to that real quick, with being true to who you are as a creative, when you are doing that, you tend to attract exactly what you're putting out there. And I think that's what happened for all of us. Individually, we were in, all these different spaces. We didn't even know each other, but we made a decision that we were going to walk in our truth and really be who we wanted to be. And we met each other, and then it's just been up from there. So yeah, just walk in your purpose.
That's a good message. Siddy, any advice?
Thing. I would just say an old Babe Ruth quote: "Never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game." Because I feel like throughout the entire time you will see obstacles, but every time you knock one down, another one is gonna come up. But an old man that I seen on Instagram, he's Black. I don't know his name, but he said that the bottom of one mountain is the top of the next, and I feel like that is just so true. Like, so you just gotta keep going. Don't let this stop you.
That's a message right there. Don't let the fear.
That was the word.
That's going to my notes for sure.
Okay,
right? I need that on a t-shirt.
That's great. Yes, that's t-shirt worthy. Yeah. And so we have one last treat for all of you guys listening, is that we have one more clip. And so we're going to show one more clip from the Film Naked, and then we will be right back here on Be More Radio. So keep it locked.
What you mean I act the part? Nah, what they meant to say was I had all this melanin to play those roles. Let's tell the truth.
So they were typecasting light skins too.
Girl, yeah, right. It must suck to always be the pretty girl, huh?
Girl.
No, for real. Stereotyping works both ways, don't get me wrong. But look, I'm tired of people of lighter complexions always trying to do trauma comparisons. We do not have the same experience, period.
Look, all I'm saying is they may have felt the same way about their roles that you felt about yours. And us brown skins too, though. We may not be chocolate, but stereotyping and biased, we up there with y'all damn near.
Look, I understand that all complexions experience some type of BS. However, the image of beauty, subtle, and calmness doesn't include dark-skinned women with 4B, 4C hair.
All right, welcome back to Sisters, everyone, and I am here with filmmakers Brenda Walker, Siddy Morgan, and Jessica Austin with the film Naked. Before we wrap up, ladies, I want to first of all congratulate you for all that you have been through and getting it up and running. I know it is no easy task. Trying to coordinate all of these sisters together in one piece on one accord. And so I really thank all of you for sharing a piece of your film with us. Thank you for weathering the storm of filmmaking, because I know it's not easy. And I definitely know that this will not be the last time anyone will see or hear from your work. And so thank you, ladies, for all of your hard work in joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. And so before we close out, we cannot close today's show without honoring the 10 murdered victims and 3 wounded in Buffalo, New York over the weekend last week. As sisters, we are definitely grieved by the senseless hatred that exists in America. We honor the lives and families of those who have been completely uprooted and have been forever changed by this tragedy. And we honor all of our brothers and sisters. Amongst the victims, I want to shout out all of their names just to give them that due respect. Roberta Dury, age 32. Margus Morrison, age 52. Geraldine Talley, age 62. Celestine Cheney, age 65. Catherine Massey, age 72. Pearl Young, age 77. Ruth Whitfield, age 86. Andre McNeil, age 53. Aaron Salter, who I believe was a security guard who defended that store, age 55. And Hayward Patterson, age 67. And then we also would like to remember the 3 that were wounded: Zaire Goodman, age 20, Jennifer Warrington, age 50, and Christopher Bratton, age 55. You will never be forgotten, and your memory lives on in our hearts. And until next time, thanks for joining us here on Sisters at Be More Radio.